Hey everyone, thanks for watching. So, a lot of you have requested that I upload the text conversation between me and the driver in my Honda S2000 crash video. There's a link in the description to all the texts on Imgur if you don't want to watch the whole video. I know it's a little long, but in this video, I explain everything, I explain each text, and also fill in the blanks and put things in context that were, said over the phone or didn't take place during the text conversation itself. So hopefully this clears the air a little bit, and if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks. So the accident happened on March the 12th, close to around 9 p.m. So this is the first text after our conversation that we had, the day of the accident. This is the next text the next day. So he had mentioned that he's going to pay for, quote, everything, including rental car, travel costs, whatever. He adamantly proclaimed he's paying for everything. So I sent the pictures to PRO's shop, and he said there's likely no frame damage, but they'd like to see it, but they think they can fix it. I mentioned that I'm flying to Florida to get the AP2, which he knew about, and I mentioned that travel costs, like he said, he said he'd take care of it. So I just wanted to enumerate it and make sure it was written in text that what he's going to pay for and what he agreed to pay for. And here he says, okay, what kind of price are we looking at? So he's like, all right, I'm on board. Let's do it. So I hadn't actually noticed the damage on the left side of the body, the driver's side, but I said, I have the estimate soon. I'll have it soon, and I think it's just bodywork in the front control arm. I thought the bumper was safe, and I thought the front subframe was okay. Previous bodywork when I had it done from the drunk driver accident was 2,200, so I said 3 grand in case I need to get a few other things and go from there. And I mentioned, to kind of put the pressure on that, hey, I am losing a lot of value here, even if the car is fixed, because now it's a twice totaled car, and I'm losing some of those VINs, the matching VIN numbers. So just trying to lay it out as clear as possible. And this is where he starts to backtrack for the first time. So let me be clear, he did promise to pay. He promised clearly to pay in person, and also even in the earlier text, he seemed like he was on board. Now is this the first time he's starting to backtrack, and you can see it pretty clearly. So I try to be a little nicer. I'm like, it's cool, as long as it gets fixed, we're good. And then I'm trying to get him to admit to what he did, and then he starts to back off, and I'm trying to be nice. He mentions, like that he saw the green light. He looked to make sure there were no cars, and didn't see the motorcyclist, unfortunately. And he did see the motorcycle driver get injured. He saw that happen, unfortunately, but he claims he didn't see the motorcycle. However, important point, that that intersection has a green arrow that you can wait for, where you can actually go onto the highway, or you can make a U-turn. So that's the safest kind of U-turn possible, and he didn't wait for that. He went on a green light where you go when you have, time to do so, but he could have waited for that green arrow. And in the accident, I said, make the U-turn whenever you're ready, thinking he would wait for that. So here's where I'm kind of trying to play to his ego a little bit. I'm saying that's how I remember it too. I froze. I panicked when I saw when I found out he lied about driving stick. He said, "Oh, his car is an automatic, not a manual," because he had initially had said that his car was a manual, his daily driver. That's when I kind of freaked out a bit. So here I'm trying to say that's kind of how I remember it too. Let's talk about it in person. Let's figure this out. Just trying to play nice, play cool, hoping to get what I can out of him. And he says, "Yeah, we'll meet Friday. That sounds good." You can see I corrected my typographical error there, but this is where you see he's really starting to back off. Unfortunately, again, I tried to be nice again, and then look what happened. Saying he doesn't want to meet in person, he's not comfortable. Just wanted to figure out we can talk everything through, maybe get him to sign something. A lot of my comments on the video had people suggesting how to get him to sign something, and I thought, hey, let's get him to sign something to agree, and let's get that nice and clear. And meeting in public, safe place, I figured he'd agree, and I tried to just lock him down to what he's been promising because I sensed the hesitation. So now he's starting to back off again. I already gave your insurance statement. I told you what happened. He just doesn't want to, do anything outside of insurance, even though that's the only reason I wasn't very angry the night of the incident. Besides the concussion I had, I was just, believing that he said he'd take care of it. So I got upset because, I already went down to get my other car. So I'd already put out a lot of money based on what he had promised. So deductible, towing costs, loss of value. I mean, those are things that insurance does not cover, especially, deductible. So I figured, hey, let's say it how it is. He did crash into a motorcyclist. He did not have the right of way when he pulled in front of oncoming traffic. So I figured I'd explain, what happened. And also, I was suggested by other viewers to go to small claims court. Uh, Later, an attorney told me that might not really be worth it. But in short, I'm just trying to explain, hey, man, you messed up. You got to live with the result of your actions. Just continuing what I said, explaining that he, really did mess up and that he needs to keep his word and that I have proof of what he did. And then he starts to panic again a little bit here. And even though he's making excuses, he's barely 18. I'm like, I don't care. Take responsibility. I mean, I didn't mean to seem threatening here, but everyone's asked me for his info. People have said they're gonna beat him up. I'm not okay with that. That would be doxing, like I said. So I'm not gonna let this kid get hurt like that. That wouldn't be the right thing to do. But I am saying, hey, look. I mean, you messed up. You made promises. You swore to something, and you've lied multiple times here. So keep your word. This is real life, and step up. So here's where things were looking up. I believe I put some of this in my update video, one of my update videos for the accident. He says he's going to pay for the extra expenses, which, hey, better than nothing. Says a contract or something, we should sign that and have that taken care of. And I'm like, hey, no problem. I mean, if he pays and I have proof that he paid and, I have that towards what I need to pay for the car being fixed and towed and all that, loss of value, things that insurance won't cover, then yeah, I don't mind if insurance pays. That's fine. I mean, my rates didn't go up, thankfully, but as long as he pays the stuff that insurance isn't paying, I mean, I'll settle for that. I'm not trying to, milk this kid for more than he really can pay, and I thought that was more than fair here, so I accepted that. So as I was saying, to me, this was like a really good, almost best case scenario. Insurance can cover some of it, and then he covers the rest. That's great. So I think we're actually in agreement here. He says, thank you for being lenient. I feel terrible. I want to make sure I do things right. And I'm like, great, I'll give you the total, no problem. Piero was going to draft up two totals because there's one if I bring parts, used parts, or if he sources the parts from Honda himself. So that's why it took a little while for the estimate from him. But I also work full time. But that's why I hadn't given him the estimate on Friday just yet. But I did send him later the exact costs overall. So I didn't give him the total just yet because I had to get the car into Piero's shop. I had to pay out of pocket for a upper control arm to make sure it could actually be wheeled into the garage to double check what needs to be replaced and what doesn't. They were worried about the front subframe, the steering rack, and the steering column, a few other things. So they weren't sure if those were still good, and they wanted to get it inside first. So that's why I hadn't given him the quote yet, but I do have the quotes from Piero that I'm going to show you next. So once we got the car into the shop, we actually did notice it was a little worse than we had thought. A viewer had sent me an S2000 without an engine down in the Carolinas, similar mileage, similar condition, for about $4,200, if I remember correctly. So I brought up another option that might have even saved him some money. I said, hey, maybe I can just get that and swap things over because things looked worse. And he agreed to that as well because the cost would have still been the same. So that was an option that I had briefly looked into during this whole process, but it didn't end up happening. So I had Pierre give the quote because that car got sold, and this is the quote with if I'd gotten all the parts new from Honda. So here's the quote. I'll show the full-size images now, but just pause the video if you want to read everything. So at the top of the text, you can see the file. I didn't load it before the screenshot, but that's where I sent him the full quote, and this is where he starts ghosting me. He did claim, as I said in one of my update videos, that he's going to get a personal loan and his mom may co-sign. That may have been over the phone, but this is where he claims he's going to do that, but starts gradually ghosting me over time. And as I said, another few days at a time, ghosting me and not really saying anything. But it is probably true that he would need his mom to co-sign because he's 18. I don't remember where he works. I know he doesn't make a lot of money, but that technically would be true, needing someone to co-sign. So I did, give that a pass for a few days. So yeah, the bills start rolling in. Piero starts work on the car, more in-depth work on the car, and yeah, that's when ghosting turns into lies, saying his phone's acting up, uh, me trying to meet with him and figure this out, and you can tell he's just stalling. So yeah, lying about his phone acting up is just stalling, as you see. You know, Thursday comes, and then Wednesday the next week comes. So definitely ignore me on Sunday. I tried calling on Sunday. But yeah, the stimulus thing, I am going to clarify that. I had been misinformed. I had heard from a friend of mine that we were getting another stimulus. He did promise to pay with the stimulus check because he hadn't gotten his yet. He didn't file his taxes right or something like that. So he did claim he hadn't gotten it yet, but I thought there would be another stimulus. But the one I mentioned in the other video that he'd be paying with the stimulus check, it was either with the one I thought we were going to get, but also he did mention he didn't get his first one yet or the most recent one yet. So he did mention paying with stimulus money on the phone and the day of the accident. So that's why I have that here. So here's where things really start to go south. Yeah, more ignoring me. That's not okay. And then now he finally just flat out admits he's not going to be giving me any cash, and he's making up stuff about my lawyer or my insurance's lawyer. He's already gotten his insurance, his mom's insurance mixed in, and her insurance will already be paying me. That did not happen. Uh, just absolutely not true. I talked to my attorney, and he said that never happens in this kind of situation. So I'm telling him, look, all right, cool. Insurance is going to pay out. If that's the case, that's great. You did say you'd pay for the damage, but you also agreed if they do, you'll take care of the deductible, the loss of value, and the travel costs down to Florida to get my AP2. And I'm like, all right, so when's that going to happen? He says they don't know. They demanded her policy. The insurance company will keep us updated, and if they mention anything, I'll let you know. That just seems a little fishy. I contacted my attorney, and he said that's not going to happen. So, as I said, yeah, no money's coming to me directly, and that's the issue here. Because even if that story was true, I'm not getting anything out of it. I tried to make it fair, because Piero needed some money for the initial work he had done, and I'm saying, hey, if what you're saying is true, which it's not, I'll give you the money back, no problem. I wanted at least something towards the damage because I had to start paying for it. I believed this kid, and they said that's all he knows, and they haven't told his mom a lot, and he won't be agreeing to anything else. And here's where I kind of let him have it. So I called my attorney, I called my insurance, and then I got the information of the insurance adjuster for the driver. And it was Kyle Sellers was the adjuster, and I spoke with him on the phone, and he said that, they're not paying anything out to me, they're not paying anything towards my insurance, or any of the other costs, the travel costs, the deductible, any other expenses. However, the good news was, again, I confirmed that they are going to pay out towards the motorcyclist as well as my insurance paying out. So he will be getting a good settlement, and both insurances are on the hook if he does sue and when he does for his injuries and his damage to his motorcycle. So that's the very good news. But yeah, I confirmed that this kid was lying in the last text by talking to the insurance adjuster on the phone, and I asked him to email me what we had spoken about, and he did here. So at this point, I'm pretty upset. I have proof that he lied, and I told him right flat out, you agreed to pay the costs, and the insurance will not pay it, any of the deductible or anything else. And I caught him lying red-handed. The image below at the bottom of the text is the one that I just showed you, the screenshot of the email with the insurance adjuster. But I didn't load it in the screenshot because I didn't want the phone number to show up. I don't want the adjuster's phone number out there. But I caught him, so I was pretty upset, and I said, you gotta pay up, kid. It's real life. Let's see it. So here you have it. I basically said, am I going to have to get my lawyer involved because, hey, people had told me to sue, small claims court, because he did clearly in these texts, as you see, promise to pay the other expenses, both on the phone and via text. This one says 8117, and the other one said 8118 for the screenshot. But those are just the two screenshots I took of the bottom and top of the email. One included the phone number and the timestamp and all that, but those are just the two screenshots of the email with his insurance adjuster. So, yeah, I said, you're going to make this right, kid? And then I get a call from his insurance, another lady who I'd never spoken with, saying, yeah, don't contact the victim. I'm like, oh, the motorcyclist, is he okay? And they said, no, don't contact the driver, our policy holder. Don't contact him again. They have requested to us that you don't contact him again. And I was like, victim, really? And then they hung up. So yeah, that's the last I've heard from him, which is a real shame. And yeah, I guess that's where we're at. So there you have it, guys. I know it's very unfortunate, but he's not going to pay. He lied about his ability to drive a manual, he lied about his car, and now he lied about this too. So I'm glad I got the car back on the road. If it weren't for the generous donations and support, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But thanks to you guys, the car is running and driving. A few more little tweaks at Piero's shop going down right now, but once that's done, it'll be back on the road. I'm in the AP2 right now. But if you have any other suggestions for future videos, or if you have any more questions you have about what happened or what's going to happen in the future, feel free to let me know. And if there is some other suggestion you have about getting something out of this kid, I'm all ears, but right now, I'm not really hopeful, to be honest. But thanks for watching. Thank you for your support. We're about to hit 7,000 subscribers today, and I look forward to giving you guys some more content. And thank you again very much, and I'll see you in the next one.